Are you good?
Oh.
You got a hand you can hold?
What is that?
Matthew, Chris.
Matthew, Chris,
Yes.
where? Okay, and Pete, and I don't know how to say it. Could I speak for y'all just? See what these are. All right. I can stitch it down right. Good. How you do very well. Good. We should change this from human beings to human beings. It's possible that other issues are not for some of the country, so now like general. Yes. Hi, Jim. Good morning. 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 You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, if some may just come to you and want to do this. Don't come in here. Without me knowing that. The other guy's already left. This guy has some pictures. I've seen them. So yes.
Barbara, how's things in the new world? How's things in the new world?
Very busy. Very roads. I don't know. And yeah. You just stretching. Okay, I thought maybe you wanted to dress. A whole lot harder than it used to be. That's right. But thank y'all for being here. If you'll stand, we'll be led in a word of prayer by Commissioner Pearson. Then remain standing for our pledges.
Pray with me. Our God and our Father in heaven, we're so grateful to you for the blessings of this day. It's very important to this court that we come to you, Father, before our meetings. We request your guidance. We request your Holy Spirit to be with us as we make decisions for Van Zandt County. Our Father in heaven, we'd like to pray for the enemies of this court. We make decisions and we don't intend to make enemies. So that's not our intent. We strive to make our best decisions for Van Zandt County and what would be the best for the citizens, all the citizens of this great county. We're so grateful to you for the nation that we live in, Father. It's established one nation under God, and we're grateful for that. We pledge to a flag for unity. Our nation does need to be unified, but our Father in heaven, it doesn't need to be unified in error and in evil. We pray that it's unified in your will. And we never bow before you that we don't thank you for the blessings that we have through Jesus Christ. And in his name, we bow before you.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which I stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I call to order the regular session of Zandt County Commissioners Court on Wednesday, September the 14th, 2022,
908.
9:08 a.m. Announced quorum is established with all members of the court present. Item number 2, discuss and consider dispensing with the reading of the minutes of the meetings of the Commissioners Court and approval of same for August 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Melton,
Second.
second by Commissioner West. Any questions, discussion, or corrections of the minutes? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 3, discuss and consider approval of county bills for payment as submitted.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner West,
Second.
second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions or discussion about the bills? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, discuss and consider ratifying of county bills as submitted.
Motion.
Got a
Second.
motion by Commissioner LaFrette, second by Commissioner Melton. Any questions or discussion about the bills that's submitted for ratification? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 5, general business. Is there any general business we need to be made aware of? Any announcements? General business, everything kind of quiet. Nothing but peace and harmony. Yeah. Okay, being no general business, we did have we'll move to item number 6, public comments. We did have two individuals that signed up for public comments, but it was for roads. I did and we don't have roads on the agenda. So I asked them, they were here to discuss the roads, had pictures and stuff. And I advised them that they needed to sit down with, I don't know what roads they were, but they needed to sit down with the commissioner, schedule a meeting with the commissioner, sit down with the commissioner and discuss it, but not on this agenda. Anyone else sign up, Scott? Yes. We'll move to item number 7, discuss and consider ratification for applying for grant for ballistic shield by Precinct 4 Constable Pat Jordan.
I think y'all, I provided, basically, the background and history of the grant, and it's a state grant. It's a non-matching grant. We just apply for the funds. It's about $8,500, and they can give us part of all of that. If they gave us what we're asking for, it would be to equip our 2 vehicles out, Bob's and mine, with a ballistic shield, probably 24 inches by 36 inches. Of course, you know, you hope you don't need those things, but if we have a critical incident, our vests and stuff that we got would help, and the helmet we have would help. But the shield is very important, especially if you get an active shooter in a school or something like that. And those would stay manned in our vehicles and not in some closet somewhere. That's what our intent would be. It's a non-matching grant. Hopefully we could get it. If we don't, we don't. If we do, we do. But basically what I have to have for us to carry on the deal is to have the court to sign the ballistic shield grant resolution. I have a copy of that here.
Okay, and I think it's already been applied for.
Yeah, I've showed you the application and so forth, but this is just it's kind of set, it's in a stage right now where we have to have this signed for the application process to go forward.
Okay, well, it showed up on we have a lot of grants and
But
everything.
they have a checked off list of things that we
Okay.
have to do. And Bob got with Sandy and got the proper paperwork that we would need from the county if we were awarded the funds and stuff.
Okay, okay,
But we have to have the resolution signed. That's just part of the deal that they require.
here's the deal, guys, is that in order to go out for the grant, you come to court and ask permission to apply for the grant. Well, apparently the grant has already been applied for because it come through and with a group of, and I went ahead and because it has to be certified by the official.
Yeah.
And I signed it. And then Sandy sent me a deal, said it hadn't been to court for approval. And so that's the reason you see, discuss and consider ratification of it. It's up to you guys. We can go forward.
Yeah, because if we don't have the resolution,
Right.
it's required. We don't have that, we can't get the funding.
Right. So,
What he's trying to say is the resolution is supposed to happen before you ever apply for it, by
Well,
statute.
okay, well, I don't know. Actually, Bob was handling it. He's filled out everything according to what they've asked for so far.
He's the guru.
Sir?
He's the guru.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know, how does these grants go forward if it doesn't have?
It won't go forward.
You can't go.
right.
forward.
It won't go forward. It just moves into a stage, then until all that paperwork's finished, it won't move up until the final deal. It's just in the process, is all it is right now.
Right. It's in the application process. If, like he said, they could fund it all part, who you don't know. So, hey,
Everybody's running out of line for grants. Before you apply for a grant, you should come to board and ask permission to apply.
right,
And we've got several individuals that are in county employees that are going out, serving and looking for grants and applying, and then they're showing up in miles. Because as you know, all the grant work shows up smile. And you couldn't supposed to know. They're supposed to give permission to apply. That basically my.
right. And I certified it in error. When it shouldn't have been certified because it hadn't been applied for.
Yeah, we have to turn, this is what we turned in, y'all, to a 4-page deal.
Mhm.
There's nothing on there that says anybody's got to certify anything. And, then it says you have to get a resolution from your commissioner.
Right.
I mean, that's what we've done. I don't think right now that if we don't take a step further, we're not gonna get nothing. So it's still in the application
Process.
Pat, I believe these ballistic shields will be of benefit to the county, and I think it's a good deal to get the grant. I think the issue, or what I'd like to ask of you, is to speak to your chief deputy about in the future, coming and getting a resolution before we apply for the
Okay,
grant.
well, I'll be honest with you, I've never applied for a grant myself,
Yes, sir.
so I don't know. It may be one of the things that you have to try to get in pecking order first, you know. Makes sense to me.
I'm gonna make the motion that we go ahead and ratify this and get you these shields. I believe you need them. I just like to ask that you inform your chief deputy next time, come get the resolution, then turn in the grant.
No problem with that.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Commissioner LaFred, second by Commissioner West. Any other questions, discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do you send that to them, Beth?
That's what y'all have to
My understanding is that has to be executed by now.
Okay.
And then I'll leave, I guess, I said the original one, then I'll keep a copy, I did a copy. And, get that done.
Okay. Motion carried. Item number 8, discuss and approve the new officers of the Van Zandt County Welfare Board.
Much time do I have?
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Dean is the president of that.
Well, they're on vice president.
Well, okay.
We don't have a president right now, so,
Okay.
listen, I want to start this off. I was going to, make what I'm about to say be the last thing, but I want to jump into something a little bit emotional, and explain a couple of things to you before we really get down to business. I'll make it quick. I want to give the judge and commissioners an apology for any deficits that I have had in carrying out my responsibilities. I've been the president for 2 or 3 years, I think, 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And we've had COVID. I did not come before the court for approval of these offices the last 2 years, which is what my apology is for. We've had COVID. I've had a seizure. Some of you on the court know. I've totaled my car. I've had a ruptured appendix. I've had sepsis and been in ICU for 5 days. So I want to offer you a public apology. It's been a difficult and ongoing challenge carrying out responsibilities. And some of you may not think that the Child Welfare Board involves a lot, but let me assure you, I had no idea what I was stepping into, and it's a job. As a volunteer, it's a job. I have struggled to remain the leader of this board for several years, but I've worked hard to do the right thing within my power and to raise money. And I've not been a perfect volunteer, and I never will be. My goal is to be nearer than perfect than I have been. But I want to say to you that being a volunteer officer on the Child Welfare Board is more demanding than most people know. One is it takes motivation driven by compassion for those less fortunate. Number 2, it takes commitment and dedication to keep on keeping on. 3, it takes energy and time and a putting off of yourself and a putting on of others. Number 4, it takes communication and collaboration to work together as a board without conflict, and that has been a challenge. Number 5, more importantly, it takes trust. 3 kinds of trust. Trust in each board member that he or she will care and work hard. Number 2, public trust to be given money from the community, and that money will actually be spent on children. And number 3, it takes your trust, since we are under your jurisdiction and the judges. I want to thank you for the trust that you have placed in me, and I want to give you my word that I will do all in my power to be a better board member. You've been understanding. Some of you know what I've been through, and you've been patient with me during some very difficult times, and I just want to thank you for that. Okay, moving on. You have a copy. It's the 3rd sheet that you have. And not that our bylaws are that important to you, but would you please look at Article 4D? The bylaws, Article 4D. One of the things that has been the hardest for me to work on is the membership of this board. It is supposed to represent the whole county, geographically, occupationally, ethnically, and otherwise. So that means that I need to try to find members that are in every town if possible, every race if possible, every socioeconomic group is possible, and every gender. Which means we need men, you understand what I'm saying. This has been difficult, but we achieved it a year ago. We have a very good board. We have very good diversity. So I want to tell you that has been one challenge right there, trying to represent the whole county. If you're not well known, it's hard for you to get representation across the whole county.
as a volunteer. Okay, number two, would you look at your officer sheet? These are your new board members, and you will see the diversity there. Presently, we do not have a president. She has resigned. I'm the vice president. And so I don't know if we're going to move in the next meeting to have a president or co-chairman. Okay, that remains to be seen until the October meeting. However, I'm the vice president and I'm from Wills Point. Our secretary is Mike Matus. Now, he's from Wills Point, but he's really from Earl Springs, that geographic area. Our treasurer is Pat Hickman from Grant Saline. Our financial officer is Jacques Cavazos from Canton, but he's really, I think, from the Martins Mill area. But that's considered Canton. Parliamentarian is Susan Warren from Martins Mill. I'm the Region 4 representative. We have Pat Jordan from Ben Wheeler. We have James Fulton from Grant Saline, and we have Michelle Harris from Wills Point. We have two pending members, Holly Hewson from Canton. She is in payroll with Canton ISD, and Joyce Mitchell from Canton. So that currently comprises the members of our board and the officers. So I want to stop there because you have to approve this and ask, are there any questions?
Any questions? Just me? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
Ms. Watson is not gonna be on this board.
No, so she has resigned.
Okay. I want to speak on that just a little bit later.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this, the board of the, Van Zandt County Child Welfare Board?
Yes, sir.
We got a motion by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner Melton. Any questions or discussion?
I do. Christine, as you know, Ms. Watson came into my office
Yes.
maybe last week or so and handed me up some paper and said this was a report that she had to turn in and was supposed to turn in these monthly, she thought. And I said, well, no, I don't think that's correct.
Right.
And so I took her into the judge's office and talked to Christie, got her straight and told her when she had what report she had to turn in. And I left her and Christie talking about what date reports needed to be turned in. So I don't know, there was some misunderstanding. I guess she thought that I said she had to turn in a report every month. Well, that's just incorrect.
Yes.
You know,
And I told her it's fine.
Yeah, did you finally talk to her? Okay, so the judge talked to her too and said, no, that's not correct.
No.
So I don't know where she got that she had to turn in a monthly report every month, but anyway,
It's a yearly report they turn in, I think. Is what it
yes.
is.
That was my understanding, but
Right.
it was yearly. And I did call Sandy Hill. She verified what you said. So the conflict has been not only what the issue that you brought up, but it was presented to the board that we should be doing this. And when I went to investigate, as you know, I called you, I called Keith, I called Sandy. I found out different information and there are other conflicts, but it caused a big problem between the two of us. So she has resigned.
Okay. Is there any other questions, discussion? Being none, all in favor of approving the Van Zandt County Child Welfare Board, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The only other thing I want to say about I'm so sorry.
Item number 9, discuss the annual overview of activities and assistance to foster children in care facilities, expenditures, allowance and reimbursement. We're good.
That was what I was about to talk about. I didn't realize it was an agenda item. Yes, sir. This is the list of everything we do. Keep in mind, we right now have 125 foster kids. So those of you who are mathematically inclined, try to do the math as I go through this because it's a lot of money. We provide monthly allowances. You can see the amount, $120 yearly for kids that are 5 to 10 years old, $180 yearly for 11 to 15 years old, and $240 for those who are 16 to 18. Birthdays, we give a $20 gift card. Now, that is primarily covered by Victory Church. I believe, is that in Canton? I believe it is. Yes, okay. We allow clothing allowances for preschool, birth to age 4, $300 per year per child. Grades K through 5th grade, $450 per year, and middle and high school, $750 per year. High school senior and or college reimbursements. This is the first year that I know of that we have had a foster child go to college, which I'm very proud of. Because the research says that about 67% of these kids within 3 years will either be dead in sex trafficking or on drugs or in jail. College is provided for them, their tuition, their room and board is not. And we approved a coverage for the room and board for this child for the fall semester. And we will continue to support this child as long as they make their grades and try to get their degree. I will tell you that what bleeds on my heart, these things we're going to go over are nice and they're wonderful. But what bleeds on my heart is 67% that within a couple of years are either dead on drugs and sex trafficking or in jail. That really is what my heart is calling me to work with. I don't know in what capacity. I've talked with Keith Pearson's pastor. I've talked with my pastor about, I would like to talk with Cal about somehow or another getting, our churches have some land. There's other churches in the county. And I would love to get, start some kind of a tiny home where these kids have nowhere to go when they exit out of the foster care system unless their foster parents let them stay there. They have nowhere to go. But the foster parents, their funding ends when these kids graduate. So these kids are at a loss. They don't have a computer, they don't have a car, they don't have a job. I'd love to see an apprenticeship program start. It's going to be a big undertaking, but my heart is really calling for that cause because of that high statistic. We can provide all these things, which is wonderful, but is it really changing the child's life? So I just want to confess to you, my heart is really on that 67% of kids once they're 18. And the tuition is free. Okay. High school senior expenses, we try to cover that up to $250 for their annual, their ring, graduation expenses. Sports equipment and fees to make a child's life as normal as possible. We spend, depending on the number of kids, we vacillate between 100 and 150 or 60 kids at any given time. We're at 125 now. But sometimes we spend $17,000 to $22,000 Christmas money. Now we have to raise that. My understanding is y'all don't cover that. You cover many things, but I don't believe you cover. We have to raise that. I was very, very blessed last year to have. I do dog rescue. So y'all are gonna laugh. One of my friends that rescued a dog in Dallas works for a man who made a $15,000 donation. That was a big donation. We were so grateful. He didn't do it again this year, but he did the year before. That kind of pushed us over. We cover rehabilitative equipment, and we also cover some special requests if we have the money for summons to court, passports, luggage for foster kids to move from home to home. The caseworkers have told us that all they have are just some bags, Ziploc bags or trash bags to put their things in. So we have covered some luggage for those children. We also cover servings from court from other states. I'm not going to read all this, the receipts that are required, but we have moved to requiring some receipts on everything except monthly allowances and birthdays for accountability. Any questions?
So, after they reach 19, then everything stops.
Well, when they graduate from high school, whether they're 18 or 19,
Yeah.
yes, sir. The
That's-
funding for foster parents stops.
Okay.
Although their tuition for college is covered.
But they don't have a car or a place to live, they're just kind of out on their
That's
own.
exactly right. And I know it's a big undertaking, but in my heart, I would love within time to get off of this board and work with Pal to try to have an impact. I talked, with Keith Pearson's wife is the city manager, I believe, yes. And I've talked with her. We have the old fire department in Wills Point. We have a new fire department. And the old fire department is in a metal building. I haven't visited it. I've been there, but I haven't toured it. But it's got a kitchen. And, you know, I was thinking we might do some rooms in there that, of course, somebody's got to be there all the time to monitor these kids. That's going to be the problem. But I'm also studying how to write grants, and I would like to investigate some grant money for these kids once they age out of the system. I'm just telling you, that's my heart is bleeding for that. That 67% is a high percentage of kids that are in trauma after they exit this program.
So how many kids is that in Zandt County?
Right now, we have 125. 2 years ago, we had 160. And it varies from month to month. Because some exit the program, some go to another, you know, we had several go to Mexico to their grandmother who wanted them, which was a good thing. So, you know, it'll fluctuate, but you can do the math at 125 kids and look at everything we cover. Some of you are very faithful to I send out Christmas letters and ask for donations, and some of you are very faithful to make donations. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Dean, for the report. Is there any questions? I don't think that's an action item. That is a report and an overview, annual overview.
Yes, sir.
of-
And I
Thank you.
apologize.
Oh. Apology. Thank you for, and I know Pat's been on that board for
Yes.
years, and it's dear to his heart. And we went a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, up to Pittsburgh. And I heard Pat speak of the impact of it. So thank you guys for your service there on that board. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 10, discuss and approve the Van Zandt County Emergency Service District number 3 financial statements for the year ending September the 30th, 2021. They did turn in their financial statements from Patillo Brown.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Melton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 11, discuss and consider a plat approval for Fallow Hills located on the corner of Van Zandt County Road 3108 and Van Zandt County Road 3117 in precinct 3.
Yes, sir. This is a subdivision going on in over there, and they've met all of our requirements. It's already been through our Mr. Abbott. Everything looks good to him, looks good on our part. They paid Paul Cox paid Mr. Abbott for his fees of $750 itself. So I make a motion that we approve this subdivision, and Mr. Cox paid the initial $750 filing fee, but I make a motion we waive the final $750 since he's already paid Mr. Abbott.
Okay, that motion.
It's all in the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion got a motion by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner LaPrette. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 12, discuss and consider leasing portable buildings for East Annex.
Yes, sir, Judge, everyone, I believe, is aware of the extensive flooding that we had in the rain event where we got 7 or 8 inches an hour out of the East Annex. And we've got the final report last Friday that we are going to have to remove some of the interior walls. So we need to empty that building as much as possible. But as you know, with some restraints on us on leasing things, that all leases should go through the court. So I'm here to ask the court for approval to lease 2 portable buildings, storage containers, is what they are.
Is it these mobile meetings?
Mobile minis, yes, sir. Two 8x20s. Because some of the stuff that'll be stored out there, as you know, we have two offices out there. We have emergency management, three offices actually, emergency management, fire marshal, and our license plate. Some of these things, some of the stuff that's going to be stored in there is critical to that department. So it really doesn't need to be mixed in where any different people have access to it. So instead of getting one 8x40, we're gonna get two 8x20s. If the court approves it. So I'll make a motion, we approve that. We'll get them delivered maybe Friday. And the schedule start removing those interior, the inside part of the exterior walls in those buildings next week.
Second.
We got a motion, and that's a motion by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner LaFreda. Any questions or discussion? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm just glad that I know what we need to do moving forward and we'll do the best we can do, but it needs help, get something down, but I'll make some calls. But we've lost a lot of stuff so far. We didn't get everything in detail, but I appreciate, that whole showing the last one. We're ready to get it back open. That's what the important side to do, so we can serve the citizens. It's still a little bit of confusion, but we're getting it. And once we get it down, that new thing, everything will be flowing in the substations. So it will be okay. So thank you for your patience with the citizens for their patience. It's try to every way social media, every way possible to get the information.
Okay.
So I guess now that that's closed, you've got plenty of employees to keep the Grand Saline and Wills Point and Ben Wheeler office open 8 hours a day.
It's been a struggle. A lot of my staff. Things they needed to take care of them, but we're moving forward. We got new hires. They can't really be in the station because you have to have a year with training before you can go to the station by yourself. So they do have some sense. But like I said, once we get completely out, the substation should be all flowing on a regular basis. Yeah. But right now, the other one that I a little bit of with is Ben Weaver. But it looks like it can probably be Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. You have to understand, you've got work from Wills Point, work from Branson, work from Ben Wheeler. That has all go back to me. Deposits here, deposits there, deposits there. But there's a lot of puzzle pieces to our department. And we are working the best we can to make sure that we're following the same needs and auditor's office and making sure we all account for stuff.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor of renting the mobile meetings, the 2 20-foot mobile meetings, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 13, discuss and consider hiring forensic engineer to design and oversee this Van Zandt County Courthouse roof project. I don't believe we need any action on that item. We are in, we're trying to get it fixed as fast as we're in the same boat. But we will just, no action on item number 13. Item number 14, public hearing on proposed tax rate for 2022. Okay, we will pause the regular session of the Van Zandt County Commissioners Court at this time and enter into a public hearing at 9:42 a.m. Our public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2022. A tax rate of 0.44269380 per $100 evaluation has been proposed by the governing body of Van Zandt County. The proposed tax rate is 0.44269380. The no new revenue tax rate is 0.43218038. The voter approval tax rate is 0.44269385. The no new revenue tax rate is the tax rate for Van Zandt for 2022 tax year that will raise the same amount of property tax revenue for Van Zandt County from the same properties in both the 2021 tax year and the 2022 tax year. The voter approval rate is the highest tax rate that Van Zandt County may adopt without holding an election to seek voter approval of that rate. The proposed tax rate is greater than the no new revenue tax rate. This means Van Zandt County is proposing to increase property taxes for the 2022 tax year. The proposed tax rate is not greater than the voter approval tax rate. As a result, Van Zandt County is not required to hold an election at which voters may accept or reject the proposed tax rate. However, you may express your support or opposition to the proposed tax rate by contacting the members of the county clerk's office of Van Zandt County at their offices or by attending the public hearing mentioned above. This is the public hearing. By law, we have to have a public hearing on that tax rate. This is your opportunity to speak out pro or con for the proposed tax rate. Now, I've said it for 8 years. I might as well say it as we this last year. So Austin keeps making rules and laws to simplify things. Did it sound simple? No, it's complicated. It's complicated for us. We understand it, but the tax rate last year was 0.52347134. This year we're lowering it to 0.44. With all that said, the best way I can explain it for clarity is if you raise 1 penny more money this year than last year, you raise taxes, even if it was on the appraisals. So we lower the tax rate down because you can't go over the 3.5% without voter rate. So you lower the tax rate, which we did. But because you didn't lower it all the way to the no new revenue, then they say you raise taxes. I mean, that's the best I can explain it. This is a public hearing. We're here to hear from you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on the proposed tax rate? Okay. I will make one more call if that makes any, have I explained it as well as you can? Where we feel like, I mean, we know we lowered the rate from 0.52 to 0.44 per $100. Well, 44269380, which is a tax rate less than when I came in 8 years ago. It was 48.5 cents. Then the voters voted a 10-cent road and bridge tax in there. And even with that calculated, we're 0.44. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on the tax rate? It is the hearing. Last and final call for anyone that would like to speak on the tax rate. Being none, we will close the public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2022 at 9:48 a.m. Okay, that will conclude the public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2022. Item number 15, discuss and consider adoption of the Van Zandt County budget for 2023, beginning October the 1st, 2022, and ending September the 30th, 2023. That will need to be a record vote.
You ready for a motion?
And if you're ready,
Okay, I move that the proposed Van Zandt County budget for the fiscal year 2023 be adopted.
that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pearson. Okay, we have a motion, a second. I will call for a record vote on the adoption of the proposed budget. Commissioner LaPrade, aye or nay?
Aye.
Commissioner Melton, aye or nay? I vote aye. Commissioner Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner West. Okay. Motion carried with all members of the court voting for to approve the 2023 budget. Item number 16, discuss and consider adoption of the 2022 tax rate for Van Zandt County and order setting the tax rate.
Yes, I'll make a motion, we set the tax rate for 2022 tax rate at 0.44269380.
Which is effectively a 2.43% increase in the tax rate.
That is correct.
And this tax rate includes zero debt service.
That is correct.
Okay, that's a motion by Commissioner Pearson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hamilton. We'll call for a record vote. Commissioner Pratt. Aye or nay?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Melton? Aye or nay? Aye. My vote is aye. Commissioner Pearson?
Aye.
Commissioner West?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried to approve the adoption of the 2022 budget or tax rate, I'm sorry. Tax rate for Van Zandt County in order setting the tax rate. Item number 17, discuss and consider court to ratify the property tax increase reflected in the budget. That's a separate vote.
Don,
Yes,
excuse me a second, but there's another thing we have to,
right. That's what we're doing now.
okay, this is back on 16.
Well, we put it on, we split it. It was, as a separate item.
Okay,
And that's the item we're on right now,
Okay.
is, to ratify the tax rate. In your book, it's all in the same,
Yeah.
in mine, we split it.
you ready for the motion?
I am.
Okay. I move that the property tax increase reflected in the Van Zandt County budget for fiscal year 2023 be ratified.
Okay,
Second.
got a motion by Commissioner West. Second by Commissioner LaPrada. I call for a record vote. Commissioner LaPrada, aye or nay?
Aye.
Commissioner Melton,
Aye.
Commissioner Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. To ratify the property tax increase reflected in the budget?
Judge, did you find?
Yes. Ms. Hill, is there anything that we missed on that process or any of those items we can go back? I think that pretty well seals the budget for next year. I don't know if we're ready, but here we go. Item number 18, discuss and consider and approve of fiscal year 2023 budget policy. Who? Is that yours? Okay,
Judge, Commissioner, good morning. We approve the budget policy every year. It just simply tells. We send it out with the budget at the meeting. We're trying to tell you, elected officials, you know, the procedure, line transfer, I think that is the procedure part for. Policy that we had in effect should get everybody how to manage the rest. And they will get a copy of it when I send it.
okay. Is there a motion? So moved. I got a motion by Commissioner Melton to approve the fiscal year 2023 budget policy. Is there a second?
Seriously.
Second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 19, discuss and consider approval of fiscal year 2022 budget amendments.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner West. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Melton. Any questions or discussion about any of the budget amendments? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 19, discuss and consider approval of. Nope. Item number 20. Discuss and consider monthly reports submitted by various offices and departments of county government and approval of entry of same in the court's minutes as matter of record. Mr. West, you have any comment?
Yeah, we're doing really well. We have all but 4 in right now, and we still have another commissioner meeting, so I'm certain they'll all be in.
Okay. Is that a motion to approve the
It is.
report? Got a motion? Is there a second?
Second, Pierce.
Second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions or discussion on any of the reports? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 21, closed executive session in compliance with section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. And then while we're in executive session, we'll discuss item number 22, closed executive session in compliance with section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against about officer or employee. We will reconvene to open session after we get through with the closed executive session. We'll come in, there will be no action taken in the closed executive session. I would ask that all recordings be turned off. And we'll call you back whenever we reconvene.